Russia is the largest country on Earth, stretching across 11 time zones and covering more than 6 million square miles. No matter where you set foot on this vast land, you cannot help but be overwhelmed by the majestic and untamed natural scenery that extends all the way to the horizon. In remote places, dense taiga forests merge with towering mountain ranges, while to the north, endless frozen tundra stretches as far as the eye can see. Hidden among these desolate lands, Russia holds countless mysteries that history and modern science have yet to unravel. Today, we'll explore the mysterious relics of Russia and the ancient secrets you may have never heard before. So fasten your seatbelt as we dive into today's mystery. But first, you'll have incredible luck if you like and subscribe before this video ends. The mystery of the underground shaft in the North Caucasus, the Karora Pit. In 2011, a particularly strange discovery appeared in the Karora Mountains of the Kabardino-Balkaria Republic in the northern Caucasus of Russia. The person who made this exploration was the cave explorer Arthur Zhukov, who had spent many years traveling through rugged mountains and mysterious dense forests. He had heard ancient legends told by the local people about forgotten underground cities lying deep beneath the ground, and that motivated him to devote his life to searching for the truth behind those stories. During one of his surveys, Arthur Zhukov discovered a vertical shaft right at the summit of Mount Karora, a location almost completely isolated from the outside world. This pit was about 40 meters deep and had a diameter large enough for a group of people to rappel down without difficulty. When he and his companions descended to the bottom of the pit, they did not just find a simple entrance, but instead opened up a giant underground hall 36 meters high. This hall had a vast space, and the surrounding walls were made entirely from large megalithic stone blocks laid together seamlessly, with surfaces smoothed to a nearly polished state. When witnessing this scene firsthand, everyone felt as if they had stepped into a corridor deep inside the ancient pyramids of Egypt, where each stone block was fitted perfectly and did not reveal any gaps. What made this structure even more mysterious was the presence of deep crevices and a strange ventilation system running through the stone walls. There were holes and narrow slots, so small that not even a child could squeeze through, but they extended very far into the stone. Everywhere, the stone walls were flattened with great care, as if someone had used sophisticated tools to polish and finish even the smallest details. During the exploration, Zhukov's team also noticed a steady flow of cool air, as if this place had been built for a special technical purpose. The biggest question raised was, who built this enormous underground structure? And for what purpose? No one could explain why, in such a remote and treacherous mountain region, there would appear a structure with a technical level far beyond what modern humans could achieve without special mechanical equipment. Later experts who came to survey all agreed that the flat stone walls, the ventilation shafts, and the small holes running deep into the mountain all suggested a technological system or at least some mysterious technical purpose. Some suggested that this place might once have been part of a larger complex, perhaps a ventilation axis or an energy storage chamber, and some even bolder opinions claimed that this was the remnant of a prehistoric civilization with knowledge far beyond modern humanity. Not only that, the discovery of the Karora Pit also astonished researchers when traces were found of secret expeditions that had taken place here in the previous century. Among the preserved historical documents, much information indicates that during World War II, Nazi organizations, especially the Ahnenerbe, under the direction of Heinrich Himmler, paid special attention to the Caucasus region. Their goal was to search for the legendary city of Shambhala and traces of lost ancient Aryan civilizations. Even on the summit of Mount Karora, researchers discovered swastika markings carved by Nazi explorers themselves as a sign marking their journey through this mysterious land. Modern expeditions to the Karora Pit have also faced many mysterious tragedies. Several researchers who took part in surveys here met unfortunate ends. Some died in accidents, some contracted serious illnesses of unknown cause, and others suddenly disappeared without a trace. Arthur Zhukov himself, the first to discover the Karora Pit, also encountered a mysterious traffic accident not long after publishing his discovery. His companion, researcher Vadim Chernobrov, died just 2 years later from a serious disease that he had never suffered from before. 3 other explorers connected with the research on Karora also consecutively died from strange causes, making many people believe that this place is hiding a great secret that not everyone can approach safely. Notably, until today, there has not been any official archaeological excavation project carried out at the Karora pit. Documents about the structure, construction techniques, or intended use of this huge underground work are almost entirely beyond the reach of mainstream scientists. Everything exists only in personal reports, documentary footage produced by private exploration groups, and photographs recording every mysterious corner inside the mountain. Whatever the truth may be, the Karora pit continues to be a great unsolved mystery of the North Caucasus, where each stone, each deep slot, and each cold draft still whispers day and night about a distant past that modern humans have never fully understood. The ultra-ancient monuments of Siberia, the megaliths of Mount Gornaya Shoria. In 2013, a team of 19 researchers, led by Georgy Sidorov, decided to organize an expedition to the Gornaya Shoria Mountains in southern Siberia. This mountain range lies in an extremely remote region where the rugged terrain and harsh climate have kept it almost entirely isolated from the outside world throughout history. Because of this isolation, no one could have expected that hidden deep within this land would be one of the greatest archaeological mysteries of the modern era. As Sidorov's team ventured deeper into the area they had selected, everyone was overwhelmed by the scene before them. Scattered along the mountainside were massive granite blocks, each one shaped into strangely squared forms that astonished all who saw them. These stones had surfaces so flat and smooth that they appeared to have been cut, with corners forming nearly perfect right angles, something nearly impossible to occur in nature without human intervention. Some blocks measured up to 65 feet in length and stood between 16 and 23 feet high, with many stones even larger, estimated to weigh as much as 3,000 tons. What shocked scientists the most was that all of these enormous stones were not lying haphazardly, but were instead stacked in an orderly fashion, as if someone had built a gigantic stone wall in the middle of the wilderness. This stone wall reached up to 140 feet high, more than 40 meters, and stretched as far as 700 feet. Upon closer inspection, the research group discovered even more unusual phenomena on the surface of the stones. In certain places, there were traces of melting and perfectly round holes, as if someone had drilled or melted the granite using a technique unknown to modern science. Many stones also showed signs of being hollowed out or deformed by an extremely powerful force. Sidorov himself put forward the hypothesis that it was possible, in prehistoric times, that a great energy explosion, possibly even a thermonuclear explosion, had taken place here, causing the granite to melt and scattering many of the stones far and wide, shattering them into large fragments. All of these traces raised a major question in the scientific community. If these are truly man-made structures, then who built them? How could ancient people have moved and stacked stones weighing thousands of tons in a place as remote as Gornaya Shoria? Sidorov and his colleagues put forward an even more startling claim, that these stones could have existed as far back as 100,000 years ago. If this were true, it would completely overturn our understanding of construction, history, and the organizational abilities of prehistoric humans. No previously known man-made site has ever been considered this old. This age would far surpass even the Great Pyramids of Egypt or Stonehenge in England. Beyond the architectural mysteries, the expedition recorded another extremely strange phenomenon. When they took measurements around the stones, all the compasses they used became misaligned, and at times, they could not determine direction at all. This magnetic disturbance did not last just a few minutes, but persisted throughout their time working at the site. Some expedition members speculated that there might be a powerful energy field around the area, or perhaps the stones themselves contained special minerals that interfered with magnetic instruments. However, the Russian government, along with many scientists from mainstream institutions, asserted that all of these massive stones were merely the product of geological processes that took place over millions of years. According to them, erosion, fracturing, and other natural physical forces of the Earth's crust could have created large stones with unexpectedly flat surfaces and sharp edges. It was nothing more than a rare coincidence, not the work of ancient humans. Despite this, many independent researchers and archaeologists fascinated by mysteries do not accept such a simple explanation. To them, these squared granite blocks, stacked high amidst the forests of Siberia, with their almost perfectly smooth surfaces and many traces of melting, cannot be explained as mere products of nature. They continue to ask new questions. If this is evidence of a lost civilization, just how advanced did that civilization become? What technology did they use? And for what reason would they build such a colossal structure in a remote place like this? Could the strange events in Gornaya Shoria be related to even greater mysteries in human history? The mystery of Mount Vadavara, Karelia, the ancient sacred site of the Sami people. Deep in the cold forests of the Republic of Karelia in northwestern Russia stands a mountain that the local people call Vatovara. For many Sami, ancestors of the modern Finnish community, this mountain is not simply a part of nature, but is a sacred land tied to countless mystical legends. The Sami believe that this place was once a bridge between humans and ancient spirits, a center for religious rituals that lasted for thousands of years. Over time, even though it is no longer a site for major ceremonies, the mountain still holds so many strange phenomena that anyone who sets foot there cannot help but feel a chill and a sense of awe. As one approaches the summit of Mount Vadavara, it is easy to recognize a landscape completely unlike any other forest area in Karelia. The trees here do not grow upright as usual, but their trunks are twisted and deformed into bizarre, inexplicable shapes. Many pines and spruces, though still alive, have broken tops or droop toward the ground, their branches hanging down in a strange way instead of reaching for the sky. Almost no one has found traces of animals or birds living on the summit of this mountain. The scenery becomes so silent and cold that locals have given Vodavara the nickname the Dead Mountain. Elders in the Karelia region even pass down stories that whenever night falls, they often feel a cold breath and an invisible pressure, as if the mountain is carrying some strange energy that no one can clearly explain. It is not only the trees and the atmosphere that are peculiar. Votovara is also famous for more than 1,600 sacred stones. The Sami call them sadis, or sites. These stones are not only large, but are balanced atop smaller rocks, as if a giant hand had gently and perfectly placed them there. Many sites appear to teeter on tiny points of contact, so delicately balanced that the slightest force should be enough to topple them, yet in reality, they have stood firm for hundreds or even thousands of years. Some clusters of stones form bizarre shapes that make people think of mythical creatures or ancient religious symbols. Scientists have tried to explain that these are simply the random products of prehistoric glaciers, that melting ice brought the stones to their current locations and accidentally left them stacked on smaller rocks. However, no one has been able to convincingly explain how more than 1,600 stones could be so strangely balanced in such a relatively small area, something that goes far beyond any natural probability ever recorded by science. Beyond the sacred stones, the Vadavara mountain area is home to several other mysterious megalithic structures, the most notable being the so-called Stone Well, located in a small valley. This stone well is a large rock that has been hollowed out in the center, forming a water basin with sides that are almost square and regular. It is suspected that this was an artificial basin created in prehistoric times for some special ritual or use. After thousands of years of weathering, the edges of the well have worn away, but its balanced shape and unusual depth remain clearly defined. Many archaeologists believe that the technique required to carve out and shape such a large stone block could not have been the random work of nature, but must have been done by ancient people for a specific purpose. Some have even compared the stone well of Vadavara to the giant stone basins found at other ancient sites around the world, such as Perperikon in Bulgaria, which strengthens the theory that an ancient civilization once existed in Karelia. In addition to the geological mysteries and megalithic structures, researchers have also recorded many strange energy phenomena while surveying Mount Vadavara. Many people who have visited have said that they felt dizzy, nauseous, or experienced a strange slowing of time when approaching the large clusters of stones or standing among the twisted trees. Some research groups using electromagnetic field measuring equipment have detected strong, abnormal fluctuations in the magnetic field at certain points around the mountain summit. Although no scientific evidence has yet identified the cause, these stories only add to the mystical reputation of the Dead Mountain. The mysteries are not confined to the mountain itself. Recently, archaeologists discovered an extraordinary trove of prehistoric art on the cliffs along the shore of Lake Onega, not far from Vadavara. On the sheer granite cliffs by the lake, more than 1,200 ancient rock carvings were found, dating back 5,000 to 6,000 years. These carvings depict many unique figures, the most notable being human forms with rectangular bodies and large square heads, as well as countless images of swans, water birds, and strange symbols never seen in any other prehistoric art throughout Eurasia. What is remarkable is that the prehistoric artists chose to carve these figures on rock faces oriented toward the setting sun. At sunset, when sunlight slants across the lake, the carvings light up in brilliant relief, like an ancient open-air cinema. Today, even though many of the stone structures have been damaged by time and the forests of Vadovara are increasingly desolate, every year many Sami people, researchers, and those interested in mysteries still make their way here. They come to feel the sacred atmosphere, to admire the impossibly balanced Seydas stones, to see the ancient stone well with their own eyes, and to quietly observe the 1,000-year-old carvings along the shore of Lake Onega as the sunset turns the stone faces red. For this reason, Mount Vadovara remains a place where the boundary between reality, legend, and the spiritual world is always blurred, a reminder that in the vast expanse of Russia, countless mysteries still remain completely unsolved. The ancient city of Arkheim in the Ural Mountains, the Stonehenge of Russia. Lying in the midst of the vast steppe in the southern Ural Mountains, the ancient city of Arkheim has long been both a source of pride and the greatest mystery in Russian archaeology. Discovered by scientists at the end of the 20th century, Arkheim quickly became a destination for researchers and history enthusiasts from all over the world. If England's Stonehenge is famous for its mysterious stone circles, then Arkheim makes an even stronger impression thanks to its complex planning, large-scale concentric structures, and traces of a civilization far more advanced than its time. Archaeologists have dated Arkheim to around the 17th century BCE, which means it is nearly 4,000 years old. Unlike the scattered, small relics found elsewhere, Arkheim stands out on the archaeological map as a fortified city with 2 concentric walls encircling a vast central square. When viewed from above, Arkheim's shape resembles a wheel, with spokes formed by straight rows of houses radiating evenly from the center to the outer walls. Each row of houses was built with remarkable regularity, arranged in a logical pattern, and every angle was calculated with precision. The people of the past were concerned not only with creating a place to live, but also with quality of life, as nearly every house had its own fireplace to ward off the cold of the Urals, and even separate drainage systems to ensure a clean living environment. Arkheim's drainage system was not just a series of small ditches, but a complex network that ran from each house to the central square and then out of the city, demonstrating a level of social organization and technical skill far beyond what is usually imagined for ancient communities. What especially amazed scientists was that Arkheim's model of social organization and construction techniques had so many similarities with ancient cities in India, such as Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. These cities all used standardized fired bricks, had straight streets, underground drainage systems, and public works arranged in a rational manner. When comparing urban plans, experts found that both Arkheim and these ancient Indian cities followed a highly modern principle: uniformity in design and building materials. In Arkheim, not only the rows of houses, but even the city walls, gates, and smaller streets were all built to strict proportions, reflecting an advanced sense of community organization. Beyond architecture, the shape and planning of Arkheim itself carry a spiritual and astronomical meaning that can only be seen when viewing the entire city from above. The city has 2 concentric walls, and the rows of houses radiate from the center like the rays of the sun, forming a mandala pattern. Each gate and major pathway in Arkheim was built in alignment with the positions of the sunrise and sunset on solstices and equinoxes. There are observation points within the city arranged for tracking the movements of the sun, the moon, and the constellations, allowing the inhabitants to determine the exact times of year for ceremonies or the start of planting seasons. Some researchers even suggest that, beyond serving as a residential center, Arkheim was also an ancient observatory and a site for mystical rituals meant to connect the community with supernatural forces of the universe. The link between Arkheim and the ancient Indo-European culture is further strengthened by the discovery of many swastika symbols on stones, pottery, and the ancient floors of the city. The swastika is an ancient symbol representing good fortune and prosperity and often appears in major civilizations such as India, Iran, and across Europe. The dense presence of this symbol at Arkheim has led scholars to believe that this place was once a crossroads for branches of the prehistoric Indo-European peoples. Arkheim may have been one of the original starting points for ancient Indo-Europeans, or at least an important link in the spread of knowledge and culture across Eurasia thousands of years ago. Although Arkheim flourished for many centuries, it was abandoned suddenly and mysteriously. Surveys show no evidence of war or natural disaster powerful enough to destroy the city. Everything suggests that a large community simply left their homeland behind, leaving Arkheim empty but nearly intact through millennia. The question of why Arkheim's inhabitants left remains unanswered and has become the subject of numerous theories, from climate change and disease to spiritual or social factors that we have yet to discover. Today, Arkheim is not only a major archaeological site, but also a place of pilgrimage for many spiritual research groups, new religious movements, and thousands of international visitors each year. They come to Arkheim to admire Russia's Stonehenge, to experience the ancient atmosphere, and to seek inspiration from a civilization that once thrived brilliantly and then suddenly vanished. The mystery of the dolmens on the Black Sea coast, ancient stone structures in the Caucasus region. The southern coast of Russia along the Black Sea, especially the Caucasus Mountains, is a place where nature and history intertwine to create a landscape that is both majestic and mysterious. Anyone who has ever set foot in the valleys and mountain slopes here will surely be overwhelmed by the sight of thousands of ancient stone structures that locals call dolmeni. These dolmens stand as vivid evidence of a prehistoric era when the technical skill and organizational abilities of humanity remain a mystery to today's generations. Stretching along the Black Sea coast, particularly in the dense forests near Sochi, Tuops, and Gelendzhik, more than 3,000 dolmens have been recorded as still existing. Many of them have been damaged by time and by people, yet they still retain their original forms and inherent strangeness. What sets the dolmens of the Caucasus apart is their unique method of construction. Some dolmens are assembled from large flat stone slabs fitted together like the walls of a pyramid, while others are completely hollowed out from a single massive stone without any visible joints. Each dolmen is typically only waist high to an adult, yet inside there is a small space. The walls sturdy on all sides, like a secret room buried deep underground for thousands of years. One of the most remarkable and impressive examples is the dolmen of Volkanka. This structure is carved from a single piece of stone, with walls polished so smooth they are almost reflective. The entrance to the dolmen is a perfect circle bored through the rock, its size and symmetry astonishing anyone who witnesses the precision of ancient measurement and technique. Inside the dolmen, there is an absolute stillness, where sound echoes in long, lingering waves, creating the sensation of stepping into a small theater hidden deep within the mountain. Modern researchers have measured radiation levels here to be much lower than the surrounding areas, as if the dolmen's unique stone construction shields it from external influences. Beyond their architecture, the dolmens of the Caucasus have also surprised many modern scientists and archaeologists with their connection to the cosmos. Many dolmens are aligned with major constellations in the sky or face the sunrise and sunset at specific times of the year. On the stone surfaces of many dolmens, people have discovered intricate carvings of the sun, the moon, a series of interconnected circles, and parallel lines like an astronomical calendar. There are even diagrams depicting the cycles of female fertility. These markings may indicate that the dolmen builders had knowledge of ancient mathematics, astronomy, and biology, far beyond the common image of primitive prehistoric people. Some stone panels even display sophisticated symmetrical patterns, leading experts to believe they are the product of a civilization with highly organized society and remarkable scientific skills. Intertwined with these mysterious structures are local folk legends about giants and dwarves who once lived in the Caucasus. Elderly people in the mountains tell stories of a distant age when giants as tall as ancient trees hunted and lived in the valleys. But they were not clever and were eventually tricked into working for a tribe of small, cunning dwarves. It was these giants who built thousands of sturdy stone houses for the dwarves, each with a single small round entrance just large enough for the dwarves to crawl through, leaving the giants forever locked outside. According to legend, with time both races disappeared, leaving behind only these stone houses. Beyond legends, modern scientists have linked the mystery of the dolmens with the Black Sea deluge hypothesis. According to geological research, around 7,600 years ago, water from the Mediterranean Sea suddenly flooded through the Bosphorus Strait, submerging the entire coastal region of the Black Sea and turning what was once a fertile land into the deep sea it is today. This event not only buried ancient cities and villages beneath the waves, but may also have erased all traces of the civilization that built the dolmens, forcing humanity back into the primitive age of hunting and gathering. Mount Nemrut and the tomb of King Antiochus. Turkey. In the rugged mountains of southeastern Turkey, there is a peak nearly 7,000 feet high called Nemrut. At the summit of this mountain, one finds a collection of colossal stone statues, considered one of the most mysterious and impressive relics of the ancient world. These statues are not simply works of art. They stand there like sentinels, guarding the tomb of King Antiochus I, who ruled the kingdom of Commagene from 70 BC to 36 BC. King Antiochus was a unique figure in the history of Asia Minor. His bloodline was a blend of Greek and Persian. He claimed descent from Alexander the Great through his mother, and from Darius the Great of Persia through his father. This combination not only brought him power, but also had a profound influence on his beliefs and the monuments he left behind. In 62 BC, Antiochus I ordered the construction of a vast temple complex at the summit of Mount Nemrut. He had statues erected representing the greatest Greek gods, such as Zeus and Apollo, alongside Persian deities like Oromasdes and Mithras. Powerful guardian animals, such as lions and eagles, also appear, symbolizing royal authority and the protection of the divine. Notably, in the western terrace of the complex, there is an especially prominent statue of a lion. Carved onto the lion's body are symbols representing Jupiter, Mercury, and Mars. Many researchers believe this is a map of the sky as it appeared on the 7th of July, 62 BC. This detail reflects Antiochus I's passion for astronomy. He reformed the calendar of the Commagene kingdom based on the stars Sirius and Orion, similar to the practices of the Egyptian priests. After Antiochus passed away, the people of his kingdom held annual festivals to honor him. However, as time went on, the tomb and the stone statues gradually faded into obscurity. It was not until 1883 that German archaeologists rediscovered this site and introduced it to the modern world. Even today, the actual tomb of King Antiochus has never been found or excavated. The ensemble of stone statues and the tumulus at the summit of Mount Nemrut has now been recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. This is not only an appealing destination for scientists, but also attracts countless visitors, history lovers, and those eager to uncover the mysteries still kept atop the windswept mountains of Turkey. The forgotten ancient Viking city, Staraya Ladoga, Aldoga. On the shore of a vast lake in northern Russia, the ruins of an ancient Viking city still remain, long forgotten for centuries. This city is known as Staraya Ladoga or Aldoga in Old Norse. It is considered one of the oldest settlements in the region, and to this day, ancient city walls, fortresses, and old churches still stand. When people think of the Vikings, they often imagine the image of fierce warriors from movies or television shows. However, in reality, the Vikings lived much more civilized lives than most people imagine. They were skilled fighters, but also talented blacksmiths, adept horsemen, and gifted jewelry makers. Clearly, the Vikings were not always defined by violence as in fairy tales or film. Staraya Ladoga was once an important commercial center during the Middle Ages. Its location was at the eastern end of the Baltic Sea, acting as a gateway connecting the lands of Scandinavia with the vast territories of Russia. The city flourished as its people crafted many silver goods and colorful glass bead jewelry. The entire settlement functioned like a giant workshop, attracting merchants and people from all over to buy goods made by the Vikings themselves. The development of the city began in the year 760. The Vikings built Staraya Ladoga at a very strategic location between two large rivers, which made trade and transportation much easier. The first structure built here was a simple earthwork fortress to protect the port. Later, especially in the 840s, the settlement expanded rapidly. At first, wooden houses were erected throughout the 9th and 10th centuries, and over time, these were replaced with more solid stone walls. With the street network planned out, Staraya Ladoga truly became a developed city. A highlight of Staraya Ladoga is that it possesses the oldest Kremlin in Russia, a testament to some of the earliest stone defensive architecture in the region. Churches were also built within the city, so Viking families had places to gather and worship their gods. Although the Vikings are often known as adventurous seafarers, in reality only the men took part in the long voyages, while women and children remained in the city. This made building permanent settlements like Staraya Ladoga practical, as it was a place for the men to return to after months spent at sea. At its height, Staraya Ladoga had a population of at least about 1,000 people. Archaeologists have discovered over 30 burial mounds surrounding the city, showing that many Vikings truly lived right here. Many still believe Vikings always sent their dead out to sea, letting them drift away on burning ships. In truth, however, underground burials were just as common. Beyond its impressive structures, Stara Ladoga is also famous for its treasure trove of archaeological artifacts. Archaeologists once found a wooden staff engraved with poems by the Skald poets and ancient runic characters. A metal amulet bearing 2 lines of runes on either side was also unearthed here. Especially notable is the large number of necklaces and bracelets crafted by the people themselves. If you are a lover of ancient jewelry, you would certainly wish to own an authentic Viking necklace once discovered here. Today, many pieces of jewelry, amulets, and artifacts from Stara Ladoga have been brought to the Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg. These relics open a window into the life of the Vikings, showing us that they were not just warriors, but also gifted artisans, people with a rich spiritual life and a remarkable ancient civilization with many achievements we have yet to fully uncover. The Fortress of Machaerus and the Death of John the Baptist, Jordan. Perched atop a high rocky hill east of the Jordan River and not far from the shores of the Dead Sea, the Fortress of Machaerus is an ancient ruin that still bears the haunting marks of history. Today, all that remains of this fortress are crumbling walls, tiled floors, and a few surviving columns, all covered in the dust of centuries of neglect. Yet, this site is known to the world for a story famous for its ties to religion and tragedy. According to the Jewish Roman historian Flavius Josephus, Machaerus was the very place where John the Baptist was imprisoned and executed, the prophet known for baptizing Jesus. John's life was marked by words of honesty and integrity, but it was precisely this that drew him into the vortex of politics and hatred. When Herod Antipas rose to power as ruler of Galilee and Perea, he married Herodias, who had previously been his brother's wife. This act faced fierce opposition from John the Baptist. John not only spoke out but openly criticized the king before the crowds, which made both Herod and Herodias furious. To silence the wave of criticism, Herod ordered John's arrest and had him imprisoned at the fortress of Machaerus. The story reached its climax during a lavish banquet hosted by Herod. Salome, the daughter of Herodias, performed a dance that captivated the entire palace, including Herod Antipas himself. Herod swore to grant Salome whatever she wished, no matter how extraordinary the request. Prompted by her mother, Salome asked for something no one could have expected: the head of John the Baptist on a silver platter. Herod reluctantly agreed. John was executed, and his head was delivered to Salome. Today, archaeologists, including Dr. Guzo Veros, believe that a small courtyard still remaining in the fortress is the very place where John the Baptist was tried and sentenced to death. Nearby, there is a small niche in the wall, which they believe was where the throne of Herod Antipas was placed during that fateful ceremony. However, the exact location of the execution is still debated, as the Bible does not specify the place. Only Flavius Josephus claimed that Machaerus was the site of the event, and to this day, no one has found evidence to dispute it. From Mesopotamian building bricks to the mystery of the ancient Earth's magnetic field. Thousands of years ago, in the land of Mesopotamia, the place known as the cradle of human civilization, powerful kings built great structures out of fired bricks. On every single brick, the builders carved the name of the ruling king, hoping to preserve the mark of their dynasty for all time. No one could have guessed that these small bricks would later become the key that allowed modern scientists to open a door into the mystery of the Earth's magnetic field in ancient times. In December 2023, researchers from University College London announced a discovery that left the scientific community astonished. When they analyzed bricks engraved with the names of Mesopotamian kings, they realized that these bricks not only preserved the history of a civilization, but also contained physical traces of the natural environment from thousands of years ago. When the builders fired the bricks in the kiln, tiny iron particles inside the bricks were influenced by the Earth's magnetic field at that time. As the bricks cooled, these iron particles became locked in place, creating a snapshot of the Earth's magnetic field at the exact moment the brick was made. By using archaeomagnetic technology, modern scientists can read these magnetic traces and trace back through time to explore the changes in the Earth's magnetic field over many ages. What is remarkable is that, thanks to the names of the kings inscribed on the bricks, they can determine the exact age of each brick, and from there, create a continuous timeline of the Earth's magnetic field changes from ancient times until today. One of the most notable findings is the phenomenon known as the Iron Age geomagnetic anomaly, a period when the Earth's magnetic field was unusually strong, concentrated mainly in what is now Iraq. This period lasted from about 1050 to 550 BC. The cause of this unusual phenomenon remains a big question for scientists to this day. There is a hypothesis that this strong magnetic field might have affected the health and lifespan of ancient people. Some stories in the Bible even mention figures like Noah living to 700 or even 950 years old. However, modern scientists believe these are only unproven speculations. The effect of the magnetic field on human physiology remains a mystery that needs more research. Not only does this help decode the mysterious changes of the Earth's magnetic field, but archaeomagnetic technology has also given archaeologists a new tool to determine the age of ancient artifacts. By combining the magnetic data with the historical information inscribed on the bricks, scientists can reconstruct important milestones in the history of ancient civilizations and also better understand the scientific and technological achievements our ancestors once reached. Today, each fired brick from Mesopotamia is not only evidence of a brilliant civilization, but also a testament to the extraordinary connection between the past and the present, between the works of humankind and the secrets of nature that are still waiting to be discovered. The Anunnaki King and the Mystery of the Coffins in Kurdistan, Iran. In 2008, in the Kurdistan region of Iran, a group of construction workers accidentally discovered an ancient tomb while digging the foundation for a new house. This discovery not only surprised the local people, but also quickly attracted the attention of archaeologists. When experts began to excavate further, they found 3 coffins buried deep underground, along with the remains of an ancient city that had been lost for ages. What stunned researchers was the condition of the mummies inside these coffins. The first body was that of a tall man, his skin a deep bronze, and he still wore a gleaming golden crown on his head. Next to him were many gold statues and a small coffin covered in precious stones. Many archaeologists believe this was the body of the king who once ruled the ancient city. The second body, found in another coffin, showed unusual features. He wore many pieces of jewelry and strange objects, and his face was covered by a mask, his eyes concealed behind shining gold coins. Experts believe this was the mummy of a sorcerer, a man who had served and remained close to the king until death. The third coffin was also found in the tomb, but it never appeared in any publicly released video or photographs. Many speculate that this may have been the resting place of the queen, but so far, no one has officially confirmed this. All 3 mummies were perfectly preserved, with no sign of decay on their skin, even after lying underground for thousands of years, and their eyes were covered with pieces of gold. Besides the mummies, archaeologists also discovered ancient scripts never seen before, carved onto the stone walls, the coffins, and the burial objects. These characters have not yet been identified as belonging to any known script, but some experts suspect they may be related to the writing of the Anunnaki gods. Immediately after news of the discovery spread, fierce debates broke out about the true age of the tomb. Local authorities and religious officials quickly declared that the tomb was only about 850 years old, hoping to reduce public and international media attention. However, those directly involved in the excavation insisted that all the evidence showed the tomb could have existed from 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, much older than any civilization previously known in human history. To this day, the mysteries surrounding the 3 coffins in Kurdistan have yet to be fully solved. No one knows for sure whether this is truly the relic of a legendary Anunnaki dynasty, or simply an ordinary archaeological discovery exaggerated by local folklore. The mysterious scripts, the undecayed mummies, and the silence of the authorities have all combined to make the story of this ancient tomb one of the most controversial enigmas in modern archaeology. The practice of cannibalism during the Ice Age in Europe. Tens of thousands of years ago, during the long, frigid Ice Age that stretched across Europe, the ancient Magdalenian people left behind traces that continue to puzzle and astonish modern archaeologists. During excavations in ancient caves, scientists have uncovered clear evidence of cannibalistic practices. The skulls of ancient humans found in these caves were not only separated from their bodies, but also shaped, smoothed, and hollowed out to create drinking cups used in special rituals. Many other bone fragments were deliberately cut and even engraved with strange patterns, suggesting that these remains were not just leftovers from a meal, but held deep spiritual significance. It is possible that the Magdalenian people believed using human bones in ceremonies would help them retain the souls of the departed or send some message to the world beyond. Scientists have conducted DNA analyses on the remains discovered at dozens of sites across Europe. The research showed that during this era, there were two completely different ancient human groups in both culture and burial practices. One group continued the tradition of respectfully burying their loved ones, showing reverence for the dead. Meanwhile, the other group carried out cannibalistic rituals and used human bones for spiritual purposes. This division not only demonstrates the diversity in beliefs about life and death, but also reflects the complex spiritual world of humans during the Ice Age. Today, as scientists look back at these sites, they are not only searching for answers about the past, but also realizing that the history of humanity has always contained deep secrets that only time can slowly reveal. The giant Dokken sword and mysterious discoveries in Japan. In early 2023, archaeologists in Japan's Nara prefecture caused a stir when they announced the discovery of a giant iron sword measuring up to 2.3 meters in length. This was not an ordinary weapon of war, but a ceremonial artifact buried alongside mysteries that have yet to be unraveled. It is called the Dokken sword, and many believe it is closely tied to snake worship rituals, especially the legend of Yamata no Orochi, the famous eight-headed serpent in Japanese mythology. The Dokken sword was found inside a large burial mound, together with many other unusual objects. Nearby, archaeologists also discovered a massive bronze mirror, different in shape and size from the small round mirrors usually found in ancient Japanese tombs. Next to the bronze mirror, a wooden coffin, as long as 4.5 meters, still lay undisturbed beneath layers of earth. This only deepened people's curiosity about the true mystery within. So far, experts have not been able to determine the exact ceremonial meaning of these artifacts. However, they believe that both the giant sword and the large mirror are highly symbolic items used in rituals dedicated to the snake deity to pray for protection, peace, or supernatural strength. The legend of Yamata no Orochi tells of a monstrous eight-headed serpent that brought disaster to the people, and of the legendary sword Kusanagi, which was said to have been born from the serpent's body after the mighty god Susanoo defeated it. The presence of a wooden coffin measuring 4.5 meters makes the mystery even more compelling. No one knows whether it holds the remains of an important figure or if it conceals other priceless treasures. Archaeologists are still carefully planning to open the coffin, hoping to uncover stories of ancient Japan that have never been told before. All of these discoveries show that, beneath the earth of Nara, countless secrets about the beliefs, legends, and spiritual life of ancient Japanese people still lie hidden. Each artifact unearthed is not only a piece of physical evidence, but also a doorway into a fantastical world, where humans both feared and longed to touch the power of supernatural forces. Calap Fortress in the Clouds, the sacred land of the Chachapoya, Peru. In northern Peru, there stands an ancient fortress once known to the locals as Cuelap. This place sits atop a mountain nearly 3,000 meters, about 10,000 feet above sea level. Long ago, Cuelap was both the power center and the spiritual heart of the Chachapoya people, who are now romantically remembered by historians as the Warriors of the Clouds. The Chachapoya were known not only for their tall stature, but also for their remarkable building skills. They were the ones who raised Cuelap as both a sacred sanctuary and a formidable defensive stronghold on a mountaintop shrouded in clouds. The stone walls of the fortress rise as high as 20 meters, enclosing the vast area inside, while leaving only a single narrow entrance, just wide enough for a few people to pass through at once. This design made Cuelap easy to defend against any attack from the outside, as invaders would have to squeeze through the narrow path before they could breach the stronghold. Inside the walls, the Chachapoya constructed more than 400 buildings, large and small. These included dwellings, storage facilities, and temples dedicated to religious ceremonies. One of the most unique structures is the Templo Mayor, a large, conical building whose exact purpose remains a mystery to archaeologists even today. However, most believe that the Templo Mayor was used for the Chachapoya's most important community rituals. According to archaeological research, Cuelap began construction around the 6th century, well before the Inca Empire rose to power and dominated the region. By the late 15th century, the Inca had advanced and taken control of Cuelap, yet they allowed the Chachapoya to continue living in their ancient citadel. It was only when the Spanish arrived in South America in the 16th century that the Chachapoya civilization truly declined. It was not until 1843 that modern explorers rediscovered this fortress. Since then, Cuelap has continued to yield astonishing discoveries for archaeologists. Evidence of bone surgery has been found, showing that the Chachapoya possessed medical knowledge far ahead of their time. Mummies have been uncovered beneath the floors, sometimes even brought out for use in sacred rituals. Especially striking are the Purun Machu clay coffins, placed precariously along steep cliff faces. Each coffin stands about 8 feet tall, shaped like a seated figure, with a face painted in bright red and yellow, containing the remains of elite members of Chachapoya society. The latest archaeological findings show that the Chachapoya had a profound worldview and construction techniques that were truly astonishing, even by comparison with contemporary civilizations. Yet, despite all that has been discovered, the major mysteries of their society, religion, and the true role of Cuelap in Peru's history remain unsolved. The Ishtar Temple in Nimrud. New discoveries about the Mesopotamian goddess of love and war. In 2024, a team of archaeologists from the United States and Iraq joined forces to excavate the remains of the Ishtar Temple, located in the heart of the ancient city of Nimrud. This discovery quickly became a prominent topic in archaeological journals because it not only offered a new perspective on the beliefs of Mesopotamian times, but also shed light on the architectural, cultural, and commercial achievements that once flourished in this place. Throughout the excavation, archaeologists uncovered many fragments of ancient architectural structures, along with artifacts dating back more than 3,000 years. What drew the most attention were the exquisite reliefs and carvings depicting the goddess Ishtar Sharat Nefi. Ishtar was the most powerful goddess in Mesopotamian mythology, revered as the embodiment of both love and war. On the reliefs, the goddess often appears with an 8-pointed star, or beside symbols of power, representing her irreplaceable role in the spiritual life of ancient people. The discovery of these carvings not only proves the profound influence of Mesopotamian religion, but also shows that Nimrud was once a vibrant center of culture and commerce. The artifacts found in the Ishtar Temple reflect not only masterful artistry, but also the extensive trade relations between Nimrud and neighboring lands. Many rare items, such as ostrich eggshells, ivory, and luxurious goods, were among the goods traded and were highly valued both for their material worth and symbolic meaning. The Dragon Man Skull Homolongi, a turning point in human evolution in China. In Heilongjiang province in northern China, scientists have made an archaeological discovery that could change our understanding of the history of human evolution. It is the skull of a creature named Homolongi, also known as the Dragon Man, with an estimated age of at least 146,000 years. This discovery quickly drew the attention not only of researchers, but also of history enthusiasts around the world. The Homolongi skull is remarkable for its size, which is significantly larger than that of modern humans, while also displaying many features that are surprisingly close to our own. The face of Homolongi has relatively soft contours, a high forehead, large eye sockets, a broad nose, and relatively small teeth. When scientists reconstructed the appearance of this being, they found that Homolongi looked much more like modern humans than distant relatives, such as the Neanderthals. Even so, the skeleton of Homolongi was strong and robust, suggesting this was an extremely powerful individual, well adapted to the harsh environment of the Ice Age. Genetic and morphological analyses indicate that Homolongi represents a very special evolutionary branch, possibly a bridge between ancient humans and our species today. This opens up an entirely new avenue of research into the history of human origin and development. In addition, the discovery of the Dragon Man skull raises major questions about the biological diversity of ancient human species that once existed in Asia, which we had never previously known. Today, Homolongi is considered one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the century, offering valuable clues that help scientists better understand the journey of human evolution. The Dragon Man skull is not only the physical remains of an extinct human species, but also stands as evidence of the richness and complexity of evolutionary history that we are still gradually uncovering. The Tomb of Cerberus, discovery of the Hellhound's grave in Italy. In October 2023, archaeologists in the town of Ceggia, Italy, made a discovery that caught the attention of the entire field of ancient art research. During an excavation of an ancient cemetery, they uncovered a remarkably well-preserved tomb its interior decorated with stunning frescoes depicting many famous mythical creatures from Greek and Roman civilization. The most striking highlight among them was the image of Cerberus, the legendary three-headed dog known as the Hellhound. Legend has it that Cerberus was the guardian of the gates of the underworld in Greek mythology. He prevented the souls of the dead from escaping the realm of Hades and always symbolized the boundary between life and death. When archaeologists discovered this tomb, they immediately recognized the importance of the meticulously painted murals that adorned both the walls and the ceiling. At the very center, Cerberus appears in all his majesty, with three fierce heads and snake tails coiled together, as if guarding the souls of those buried within. Surrounding him are other mythical creatures, such as centaurs and winged beings, creating a vivid picture of the supernatural world that ancient people believed in. Beyond its artistic value, this discovery reflects the profound faith that ancient people placed in Greek and Roman mythology. For them, images like Cerberus were not merely illustrations, but messages of protection and guidance for the soul's journey to the afterlife. The choice to paint Cerberus on the tomb walls demonstrates a strong belief that the Hellhound would help the dead safely cross the gates of the underworld and shield them from wandering spirits or dark forces. Today, the tomb of Cerberus in Chedja stands as one of the clearest examples of the intersection between art, faith, and mythology in the ancient world. It not only helps us better understand the spiritual life of the past, but also raises many questions about how people once viewed death and the journey to the world beyond. The Prohibition-era whiskey cache in New York. On what seemed like an ordinary day in the small village of Ames, New York, a couple accidentally uncovered a secret that had been buried for nearly a century in the very house they had just purchased. As they began renovating the old foundation, they discovered an old brown paper package that had fallen from beneath the floor. At first, they thought it was insulation material or simply discarded junk, but when they opened it, they were astonished to find bottles of whiskey carefully wrapped in paper and straw. These bottles were nearly 100 years old, identified as bootleg whiskey from the Prohibition era, a time in the 1920s when the production and sale of alcohol were banned across the United States. The couple didn't stop there. They continued searching the house and discovered a secret cellar beneath the floor where nearly 100 bottles of illegally imported Scotch whiskey were hidden. All were preserved perfectly beneath layers of dust, like a forgotten treasure from the days of Prohibition. The previous owner of the house was a mysterious figure named Count Adolf Humpfer. He was once a wealthy and well-known man in the area, but his life ended in a shroud of mystery. In 1932, he was found dead in his living room, with no one ever discovering the true cause. For many years afterward, locals continued to whisper strange tales about his unusual death, but no one suspected that his house had once been a massive hub for bootleg liquor, carefully hidden from police raids. The discovery of the whiskey cache not only surprised the new homeowners, but also helped reveal a vivid chapter of American history during Prohibition. These bottles are proof of a time when people had to use intelligence, patience, and even courage to outsmart strict laws, contributing to untold stories of intrigue. The appearance of the bootleg whiskey cache and the mysterious death of Count Adolf Humpfer have turned the old house in Ames into a place of historical significance, drawing curiosity from many people even to this day. The Well of Hell in Yemen, a real-life exploration inside the legend. Amid the vast and harsh deserts of Yemen, there is a mysterious place that has caused generations of local people to tread carefully and pass down chilling tales. This is the Barhout Well, also known as the Well of Hell. The well plunges to a depth of 367 feet, its mouth wide and so dark that it seems to swallow all daylight. In Yemeni folklore, the Barhout Well has long been regarded as a gateway to hell, a prison for rebellious spirits, jinn, and a connection point between the world of humans and the shadowy realm from which there is no return. For hundreds of years, no one dared venture too deep into the well. Whenever an animal or object fell in, people believed it had been taken by spirits, never to return. Over time, stories about the Well of Hell grew ever more elaborate, making it a source of fear for this desolate land. However, everything changed recently when an expedition team from Oman decided to face all fears and sinister legends, undertaking the first scientific survey down to the bottom of the Barhout Well. After many days of careful preparation, they used ropes, modern protective gear, and cameras to document their descent into this long forbidden chasm. When they finally reached the bottom, what they found was completely different from the ancient legends. There there were no signs of spirits or supernatural phenomena. Instead, the explorers discovered a fresh underground water source flowing around massive rocks, the remains of animals that had died after being unable to escape, and many insects and frogs living in the humid, lightless conditions. Most remarkable of all, they found sparkling blocks of onyx and limestone columns formed over thousands of years, creating a breathtaking scene that no one had ever witnessed before. The expedition's notes and images have completely debunked the supernatural legends surrounding the Well of Hell. In reality, Barhout is simply a natural sinkhole with a long geological history where the harsh forces of nature have created a unique, self-contained ecosystem very different from the outside world. Today, the Barhout Well is no longer a terrifying gateway to the underworld as in old tales, but stands as proof of human courage, scientific spirit, and the relentless curiosity that drives us to explore the unsolved mysteries of nature. The origin of domesticated horses in Russia. For decades, scientists around the world have been searching for the true origin of domesticated horses, a species that has helped change the entire course of human history. It is well known that from the moment horses appeared in human life, everything from transportation and agriculture to warfare turned a new page. But it was only in recent years, with the development of modern genetic technology, that the mystery of where horses were first domesticated has begun to be solved. Researchers collected and analyzed hundreds of ancient horse bones from across Europe and Asia, comparing them with the genome of modern horses. The results revealed that about 4,200 years ago, on the vast plains of southern Russia, a group of ancient people began the process of horse domestication. These first horses were completely different from the wild horses that once lived scattered across the continent. They quickly became an efficient means of transport and gradually spread alongside the footsteps of their first human masters. It was this group of pioneers who first rode horses across the steppes, over rivers, and through mountain ranges to reach new lands. Horses not only helped them travel farther and faster, but also gave them overwhelming advantages in agriculture, livestock, hunting, and in large and small conflicts between tribes. Thanks to horses, they were able to trade, exchange cultures, and even conquer lands that had previously been unknown. The influence of horse domestication did not stop in southern Russia, but quickly spread across Europe and Asia. Traces of these early herds and the remains of ancient cultures all show the strong presence of this animal across the entire continent. No other invention in human history has ever been able to accelerate the development, connection, and expansion of civilizations quite like the domesticated horse. Today, as scientists look back on the evolution of horses and their role in history, they are ever more certain that southern Russia is the true cradle of horse domestication. From there, the journey of humanity and the horse became forever intertwined, creating decisive turning points along the path of human development. The Mustang Caves and the mystery of skeletons with cut bones, Nepal. Located in northern Nepal, on the edge of the majestic Himalayas, the ancient kingdom of Mustang hides one of the world's most peculiar archaeological treasures. Here, the sheer cliffs along the Kaligandaki River have been carved by humans into nearly 10,000 caves, large and small, stretching out like giant honeycombs suspended between sky and earth. The Mustang Caves not only astonish visitors with their remarkable construction, but also leave archaeologists puzzled by the mysteries surrounding the human skeletons and the strange marks found on their bones. Since the 1990s, researchers from Nepal and the University of Cologne in Germany have begun the journey to explore these caves. As they ventured deeper, they discovered human remains, some still partially mummified, dating back 2,000 or 3,000 years. What perplexed scientists most were the precise incisions and cuts found on many of the bones. These marks have raised a major question. Were these people killed in sacrificial rituals, or are these the result of some special burial custom? The exploration of the caves did not end with the discovery of skeletons. By 2007, explorers had also found Buddhist wall paintings, statues of the Buddha, pottery, ancient manuscripts, and many other artifacts, most dating from the 12th to the 14th centuries. Among these important discoveries were skeletons around 600 years old, proving that the caves were used continuously over many generations. In 2010, another archaeological team uncovered 27 more human skeletons, most of which were remarkably well preserved, with extremely precise cut marks on the bones. Based on comparative studies and local customs, many scientists believe these are the traces of a unique burial ritual called sky burial, according to Tibetan Buddhist or Bon traditions. The body of the deceased would be cut, divided, and placed on wooden platforms outside the caves to be consumed by vultures. This practice not only reflects acceptance of the cycle of life and death, but is also a sacred ritual believed to help the soul of the deceased achieve liberation. The sky burial custom in Mustang is deeply influenced by Tibetan Buddhism, but it also bears the mark of the ancient Zoroastrian religion from Persia. In both belief systems, offering the body to animals is considered an act of respect for nature and the gods. Today, even though many mysteries have gradually been revealed, Mustang remains an archaeological maze that has yet to be fully decoded. It is still unknown exactly who first created these astonishing caves or what their true purpose was. Were they collective burial sites, shelters, or traces of a lost civilization beneath the snowy peaks of the Himalayas? These questions continue to challenge archaeologists and await answers from future excavations. The Kapılıkaya Rock Tomb, the mystery of Çorum, Turkey. In a remote mountain area of Çorum province in northern Turkey, there is a little-known monument that holds many strange mysteries for archaeologists. This is the Kapılıkaya Rock Tomb, an ancient burial site carved directly into a sheer cliff face. The tomb shape is especially distinctive, almost like a large cube standing out against the wild landscape, connected to the mountainside at only a few points to support the roof and keep it from collapsing over time. From the valley below, one can see the path leading up to the tomb winding along the mountainside, passing moss-covered stone steps and a small stream running through the silent forest, making the setting even more mysterious and isolated. It is believed that the Kapılıkaya tomb was built around the 2nd century BCE, during the Hellenistic period after Alexander the Great expanded his influence into Asia Minor. However, some modern Turks believe it is a relic from Roman times, since this geographic area was once part of many different kingdoms and empires. What particularly interests researchers is that the tomb bears only a single inscription, Aikisios, carved in a rather simple style, with no other drawings or notes. To this day, no one has been able to confirm exactly who Aikisios was. Some theorize that this could have been the name of a Greek general or an important ancient figure, as this region was once under Greek control, later passing to the Kingdom of Pontus, ruled by the Persian-descended Mithridates dynasty after the fall of the Persian Empire. The architectural style of Kapılıkaya closely resembles the royal rock tombs of the Pontic kings across Asia Minor, yet it lacks the grandeur or elaborate carvings typical of the great royal mausoleums. All that remains is a solitary block of stone, standing alone in nature, suggesting that this site was meant for a single, special individual within a small community, rather than a celebrated monument of a great dynasty. This very simplicity only deepens the mystery of this monument. To this day, archaeologists have not been able to determine exactly who built the Kapılıkaya rock tomb or its true purpose. It remains a major question for Anatolian archaeology, and a reminder that the ancient land of Turkey still holds many unsolved mysteries, waiting to be discovered beneath layers of ancient stone and the overgrown grass surrounding forgotten ruins. Thank you for joining us on this journey to uncover the mysteries of human history. If you enjoy stories like these, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. We look forward to hearing from you. See you again in our next fascinating discoveries.